Alright, good morning class. Today we are going to be doing, we're going to be reading and analyzing The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. Let's go on and talk about the objectives. Let's read them together. We're going to what?
Identify the central theme, analyze symbolism, explain the author's purpose, make inferences.
Alright, so this is what we're going to be doing while we are reading the short story The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. Okay, so to start things off, let's do a little think, pair, share with each other. So this is the question I'm going to ask you. What is one tradition your family follows? Then I want you to also think about this. Why do people continue traditions without questioning them? So think about that for about a minute and then discuss it with the person sitting to the right of you. You two will discuss it. You three can discuss about
Me neither.
You guys, come on, discuss.
Okay, so
Answer the question. That's all you're doing. You're answering the question. What tradition your family follows?
every family does of course.
I normally go to yoga.
Okay, what about you? What about you? I don't know.
We have
No, but it's like a
universal.
That could be a tradition. That's still a tradition. All right. Okay. Let's pause. Give me 5. Thank you. All right. So what? Let's talk about it. Anybody want to discuss what's one tradition your family follows? All right. Let's go with Zaina.
Eid.
Eid. Okay. What do y'all do for Eid?
So basically in the morning we go for Eid prayer at the masjid, and then sometimes we stay there, or sometimes we go to people's houses.
Okay. Okay. Yasser.
Probably like eating, like killing goats and chickens.
Why are you doing that?
No, how do you say it? But every time I come to Africa,
Oh, that's a welcoming tradition they do in Africa. Every time you come, is kill a goat or a chicken. And what does that mean, though? What does that mean?
just to welcome the people.
What do y'all do with the goat and chicken after you
eat them.
You eat. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we do that too.
Jawad. Ramadan. All right. Okay.
That's the name of this holiday.
Still a tradition. I don't celebrate Ramadan. Do you celebrate Christmas? Fatima?
So there's a tradition in my family. Like if somebody does Hajj or Umrah, basically it's a tradition to give them a gift or something. That's what
Oh, you give me a gift. Okay.
it's usually clothes.
Lana?
Normally, the first day of Eid, we have a tradition. Each person will bring a few presents, and they're random presents. We don't know who we're gonna they put it for the kids, and then you know how you like pick a gift, and then at the end, after everybody picks a gift, they trade or they keep it. That's what we do, or like steal.
Oh, okay, yeah, we do something like that too. It can be called what is it called?
White elephant.
White elephant. Is that what it's called? Yeah, white elephant. Yeah.
We do
I
that
did it
on the first day of Eid every single year, and sometimes the adults do it. They do it for the kids. It's fun. But like sometimes all the kids are crying because they don't have what they want.
It's not that.
But we don't really
Well, let's go into some vocabulary though. Now we have vocabulary. These are some words that we're going to be talking about. Tradition. It's a custom passed down. Ominous, suggesting something bad will happen. Ritual, a repeated ceremony. Okay? Alright, so this is the title, the lottery, right? What do you kind of know about this? What will you think this story will be about? Zaina?
About a lottery. Like, since we're talking about tradition, maybe they have a tradition of every family member puts like a lottery card and then like scratch the numbers and something like that.
Okay, yeah.
I think out of that box there, they choose a name, and then that name has to like do something. That's why it's considered a lottery. And a lottery.
Okay. Do you think it's gonna be a positive or negative?
Negative.
It's their faces,
Negative,
they
and
all
it's
look
dystopian.
like.
And it says ominous is in vocabulary. So just
They're not smiling.
Yeah, they're not smiling.
I
in
feel
the
like
book cover.
whoever gets the number will get kicked off of the family.
No, what
Also,
is it?
in one of the
No, because it's a tradition. They
Wait, hold on. This is a good point.
They
One
probably
of the vocabulary.
Lana?
One of the vocabulary words is ominous.
Uh-huh.
Suggesting something bad will happen. So.
Okay.
And
And now what
rituals.
you say, Sandra?
and also, what if they don't know what the tradition is, what the goal is? They could think of it as something good, but then at the end it ends up being something bad. And the main character of this might get chosen and figure out what is the special prize to that lottery.
I think it's like whoever
I
gets
think Olivia
chosen
read this book.
will have to sacrifice themselves because it says a ritual. And it
Yeah,
says,
rituals sounds like generally
Rituals sounds
rituals
like-
aren't good.
yeah,
They're
they
like
sound like
crazy.
Or I feel like whoever gets like
Not every single
That's what I
ritual is
think
the
will
same.
happen.
kicked out of the family inheritance. Or
Okay.
Mom, Miss, you're the one doing the ritual.
I've seen them do it in scary
Alright, so now we're gonna read it. We're gonna start reading. Alright. So the morning of the 27th was clear and sunny with the fresh warmth of a full summer day. The flowers were blossoming profusely and the grass was richly green. The people of the village began to gather in the square between the post office and the bank, and around 10 o'clock in some towns there were so many people that the lottery took 2 days and had to be started on June 2nd. But in this village, where there were only about 300 people, the whole lottery took less than 2 hours. So it could begin at 10 o'clock in the morning and still be through in time to allow the villagers to get home for noon dinner. The assembled first, of course, school was recently over for the summer, and the feeling of the liberty sat easily on most of them. They tended to gather together quietly for a while before they broke into boisterous play, and their talk was still of the classroom and the teacher, of books and reprimands. Bobby Martin had already stuffed his pockets full of stones, and the other boys soon followed his example, selecting the smoothest and roundest of stones. Bobby and Harry Jones and Dickie Delacroix, the villagers pronounced this name Delacroix, eventually made a great pile of stones in one corner of the square and guarded it against the raids of the other boys. The girls stood aside, talking among themselves, looking over their shoulders at rolled in the dust or clung to the hands of their older brothers or sisters. Soon, the men began to gather, surveying their own children, speaking of planting and rain tractors and taxes. They stood together, away from the pile of stones in the corner, and their jokes were quiet and they smiled rather than laughed. The women wearing faded house dresses and sweaters came shortly after their menfolk. They greeted one another and exchanged bits of gossip as they went to join their husbands. Soon the women, standing by their husbands, began to call to their children, and the children came reluctantly, having to be called 4 or 5 times. Bobby Martin jumped under his mother's grasping hand and ran, laughing back to the pile of stones. His father spoke up sharply, and Bobby came quickly and took his place between his father and his oldest brother. The lottery was conducted as were the square dances, the teen club, the Halloween program by Mr. Summers, who had time and energy to go to civic activities. He was a brown-faced, jovial man. Jovial. What do y'all think that means?
Maybe jovial, maybe serious.
Like
Playful.
cheerful.
Yeah.
Or
Maybe serious,
depressed.
pathetic, because it says later in the story, and people were sorry for him because he had no children and his wife was a school.
He ran the coal business, and people were sorry for him because he had no children. His wife was at school. When he arrived in the square carrying the black wooden box, there was a murmur of conversation among the villagers, and he waved and called, "A little late today, folks." The postmaster, Mr. Graves, followed him carrying a 3-legged stool, and the stool was put in the center of the square, and Mr. Summers set the black box down on it. The villagers kept their distance, leaving a space between themselves and the stool, and when Mr. Summers said, "Some of you fellas want to give me a hand," there was a hesitation before 2 men. Mr. Martin and the oldest son, Baxter, came forward to hold the box steady on the stool while Mr. Summers stared up the papers inside. The original paraphernalia for the lottery had been lost long ago, and the black box, now resting on the stool, had been put into it even before old man Warner, the oldest man in the town, was born. Mr. Summers spoke frequently to the villagers about making a new box, but no one liked to upset even as much tradition as was represented by the black box. So they don't want a new box because what?
It's a tradition.
It's a tradition for that box. What are they gonna do with this box?
A lottery. Maybe they're gonna cast blood on the floor.
Oh, pull a number. Yeah. Okay.
Because it does say like about paper during the start.
There was a story that the present box had been made with some pieces of the box that had preceded it. The one that had been constructed when the first people settled down to make a village here. Every year after the lottery, Mr. Summers began talking again about a new box, but every year the subject was allowed to fade off without anything being done. So what's going on? What's happening? Zaina.
So basically the whole town is gathered together, and there's this man named Mr. Summers who is, everybody's like, I feel everybody's kind of scared of him because they're all hesitating to help him or answer to him. And basically, so everybody's there, all the kids, the adults, the moms, everybody's there, and basically in the middle, there's a stool where the box is, and Mr. Summers and comes with his wife, and he's like basically the person who is like, he's like the main person who does these activities. Like I said, he does Halloween and stuff like that.
Great. What mood is the author creating?
Mysterious, kind of. Tense or suspenseful.
Tense, suspenseful. You said mysterious. Y'all like those? I like those. Yeah. It's leading up to something, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
The author wants us to get ready.
The black box grew shabbier each year. By now, it was no longer completely black, but splintered badly along one side to show the original wood color, and in some places faded or stained. Does anyone want to read? Zaina.
Mr. Martin and his older son, Baxter, held the black box securely on the stool until Mr. Summers had stirred the paper thoroughly with his hands. Because so much of the ritual had been forgotten or discarded, Mr. Summer had been successful in having slips of paper substituted for the chips of wood that had been used for generations. Chips of wood, Mr. Summers had argued, had been all very well when the village was tiny, but now that the population was more than 300 and likely to keep on growing, it was necessary to use something that would fit more easily into the black box. The night before the lottery, Mr. Summers and Mr. Graves made up slips of paper and put them in the box. And it was then taken to the safe of Mr. Summers' courtroom and locked up until Mr. Summers was ready to take it to the square the next morning. The rest of the year, the box was put away, sometimes one place, sometimes another. It had spent 1 year in Mr. Graves' barn and another underfoot in the post office, and sometimes it was set on a shelf in the Marching grocery and left there.
Great. Why do y'all think that's relevant? To know where the box is during the year and all this kind of stuff. Why do you think that's relevant?
Maybe that person was he's definitely hiding something important.
Hiding something important or protecting it, maybe?
Yeah, that's why they switched places so nobody was suspected of places.
Alright. Okay. Solandra, you wanna read?
Yeah. There was a great deal of fussing to be done before Mr. Summers declared the lottery open. There were the list to make up of heads of families, heads of households in each family, members of each household in each family. There was the proper swearing in of Mr. Summers by the postmaster as the official of the lottery. At one time, some people remember there had been a recital of some sort performed by the official of the lottery, a perfunctory, tuneless chants that had been rattled off duly each year. Some people believe that the official of the lottery used to stand just so when he said or sang it. Others believe he was supposed to walk around among the people, but years and years ago, this part of the ritual had been allowed to lapse. There had been also a ritual salute where the official of the lottery had to use in addressing each person who came up to draw from the box. But this also had changed with time. Until now, it was felt necessary only for the official to speak to each person approaching. Mr. Summers was very good at all this. In his clean white shirt and blue jeans, with one hand resting carelessly on the black box, he seemed very proper and important as he talked interminably to Mr. Graves and the Martins. Ma'am, why is the word purge
Word 3 and it looks like it's just a typo.
a typo? Okay.
So it looks like they have to do a lot of preparing. And what are they doing while they're preparing? Like, what is the preparation for this box for the lottery?
Like they make like slips of paper which each head of the family and like the family members of the household and stuff.
They got.
Basically names of all the villagers.
Like it's very important.
Yeah.
But like some, it's like saying that some, like before back then, it was different than how it is now because people kept on forgetting and it changed over the years.
Okay, Anaya. Yeah.
Just as Mr. Summers finally left off talking and turned to the assembled villagers, Mrs. Hutchinson came hurriedly along the path to the square, her sweater thrown over her shoulders and slid into place in the back of the car. Clete forgot what day it was, she said to Mrs. Delacourt, who stood next to her, and they both laughed softly. Thought my old man was out back stacking wood, Mrs. Hutchinson, and then I looked out the window and the kids was gone, and then I remembered it was the 27th and came home. She dried her hands on her apron, and Mrs. Delacourt said, "You're in time, dear. They're still taking the land."
Alright. Ma.
Mrs. Hutchinson came her neck to see through the crowd and found her husband and children standing in front of her. She clapped Miss Delacourt on the arm as a farewell and began to make her way through the crowd. The people separated, pushed hurriedly to the underground. 2 or 3 people said in
Summers and so we could list those 5 dependents. He said, that's right, he's broke his leg as who's drawing me, I guess, everyone said, and Mr. Summers turned to look at her wife cross progressing. Mr. Summers says, don't you have a good boy to do it for you, Jamie? Although Mr. Summers and everyone else in the rigid village knew the answer perfectly well. It was the business of the official of the lottery to ask such questions from him. Mr. Summers waited with an expression of polite interest while Mrs. Donahue answered. Horace's lot was 16, but Mr. Dunbar said regretfully, inside out of 15 for the old man this year.
Right, right, Senior Summers said. He made a note on the list he was holding. Then he asked, Watson boy drawing this year? A tall boy in the crowd raised his hand. Here, he said, I'm drawing for my mother and me. He blinked his eyes nervously and ducked his head as several voices in the crowd said things like, good fellow, Black, and glad to see your mother's got a man to do it. Well, Mr. Summers said, guess that's everyone. Old man Warner, make it. Here, a voice said, and Mr. Summers nodded. A sudden hush fell on the crowd as Mr. Summers cleared his throat and looked at all the lists. All ready, he called. Now I'll read the names. Heads of the families first, and then the men come up and take a paper out of the box. Keep the paper folded in your hand without looking at it until everyone has had a turn. Everything clear? Ooh, so what's happening?
They're gonna start the lottery.
They're starting the lottery.
But only the men can draw, not the women.
And yeah, and it seems like only the men can draw because they were questioning that one lady, right? Yeah, you can read. Okay, come on. Start.
Okay. The people had done it so many times that they only half listened to the directions. Most of them were quiet, wetting their lips, not looking around. Then Mr. Summers raised one hand high and said, Adams. A man disengaged himself from the crowd and came forward. Hi, Steve, Mr. Summers said. And Mr. Adams said, Hi, Joe. They grinned at one another, humorously and nervously. Then Mr. Adams reached into the black box and took out a folded paper. He held it firmly by one corner as he turned and went hastily back to his place in the crowd, where he stood a little apart from his family, not looking down at his hand. Alan, Mr. Summers said, Anderson, Bethel. Seemed like there's no time at all between daughters anymore. Mrs. Delacroix said to Mrs. Graves in the back row, seems like we got through with the last one last week. Time sure goes fast, as she said.
Anybody else want to read? Possible?
Mark Delacroix, there goes my old man. Miss Delacroix said she held her breath while her husband went forward. Dunbar, Mr. Summers said, and Mrs. Dunbar came stumbling to the knock while one of the women said, Go on, Janie, now, and everyone told where she goes. We're next, said he. We're next, Mrs. Graves said. She watched while Mr. Graves came around from the side of the box, holding Mr. Summers gravely and taking something paper from the box. By now, all through the crowd, there were men holding the small folded papers in their large hand. Turning them over, they noticed that Mrs. Dunbar and her two sons stood together. Mrs. Dunbar holding the small paper. Harbert Hutchinson, get up there, bro. Mrs. Hutchinson sat on the paper. Near her. Jones. They do say, Mr. Adams said to the old man Warner, who stood next to him, that over in the north village they're talking of giving up the market. Old man Warner swore up. Back up, crazy place, he said, listening to the young talk. Something's good enough for him. next thing you know, you'll be wanting to go back to the winning place. Nobody works anymore. And live that way for a while. Used to be a saying about lottery and June corn. You never saw. First thing you know, you'll be eating stewed chickweed and acorns. There's always been a lot of the but bad enough to see young Joseph who's up against the village. Continue.
Who wants to read next? Come on.
Wait, do we separate Old Man Warner?
Some places have lotteries.
Some places have already played lotteries, Miss Adams said. Nothing but trouble in that, Old Man Warner said sadly. Pack of young fools. Martin and Bobby Martin watched his father go forward. Obadiah Percy, I wish they hurried, Miss Dunbar said to her oldest son. I wish they hurried. They're almost done. They're almost through, her son said. You get ready to run till that, Miss Dunbar said. Mr. Summers called his own name and stepped forward possessively and selected a slip from the box. Then he called Warner. 77th year I've been in the lottery, Old Man Warner said as he went through the crowd. 77th time. Watson, the tall boy, came awkwardly through the crowd. Someone said, "Don't be nervous, Jack." And Mr. Summers said, "Take your time, son." Zanini. After that, there was a long pause, a breathless pause, until Mr. Summers, holding his slip of paper in the air, said, "All right, fellows." For a minute, no one moved, and then all the slips of paper were open. Suddenly, all the women began to speak at once, saying, "Who is it? Who's got it? Is it the Dunbars? Is it the Watsons?" Then the voices began to say, "It's Hutchinson. It's Bill. Bill Hutchinson's got it."
Alright. So now what just happened? Somebody else, let's go. What just happened? Come on. Everybody just start splurting it out. Everybody.
They got a lottery.
They got a lottery.
And Bill
And
Bill
Bill got it.
Hutchinson. Yeah.
Bill Hutchinson got it. So that means now they gotta get somebody from his family, right? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, go tell your father, Mrs. Dunbar said to her older son. People began to look around to see the Hutchinsons. Bill Hutchinson was standing quiet, staring down at the paper in his hands. Suddenly, Tessie Hutchinson shouted to Mrs. Summers, "You didn't give him time enough to take any paper he wanted. I saw you. It wasn't fair. Be a good sport, Tessie," Mrs. Delacroix called, and Mrs. Graves said, "All of us took the same chance." "Shut up, Tessie," Bill Hutchinson said. "Well, everyone said," Mr. Summers said, "that was done pretty fast, and now we've got to be hearing a little more to do to get done in time." He consulted his next list. "Bill," he said, "you draw for the Hutchinson family. You got any other households in the Hutchinsons? There's Dawn and Eva," Mrs. Hutchinson yelled. "Make them take their chance." "Daughters draw with their husbands' families, Tessie," Mr. Summers said gently. "You know that as well as anyone else." "It wasn't fair," Tessie said. "I guess not, Joe," Bill Hutchinson said regretfully. "My daughter draws with her husband's family. That's only fair, and I've got no other family except the kids." "Then, as far as drawing for families is concerned, it's you," Mr. Summers said in explanation. "And as far as drawing for households is concerned, that's you too, right?" So now they're like, what? They're kind of like, they're arguing.
They're trying to find a way out.
Yeah, they're trying to find a way out, and they're like, and it's like, wow, you got the lot, you got picked, so what's the problem, right? Okay, so right, how many kids, Bill? Mr. Summers asked formally. 3, Bill Hutchinson said. "There's Bill Jr. and Nancy and little Dave and Tessie and me." "All right then," Mr. Summers said. "Harry, who got their tickets back?" Mr. Graves nodded and held up the slips of paper. "Put them in the box then," Mr. Summers directed. "Take Bill's and put it in." "I think we ought to start over," Mrs. Hutchinson said as quietly as she could. "I tell you, it wasn't fair. You didn't give him time enough to choose." Everybody saw that. Mr. Graves had selected the 5 slips and put them in the box, and he dropped all the papers but those onto the ground, where the breeze caught them and lifted them off. "Listen, everybody," Mrs. Hutchinson was saying to the her, "Ready, Bill?" Mr. Summers asked, and Bill Hutchinson, with one quick glance around at his wife and children, nodded. So now
Did we do
the Hutchinson family put all their names in the box?
Yeah. And then everybody else is gonna
Not
say.
everyone, except those two daughters.
The ones that were married, right?
Yeah, but
Okay.
Hutchinson family is
And then
the
now
five, not the
the
daughter.
dad is gonna pull. Okay.
Can we do the lottery, please?
Remember, Mr. Summers said, "Take the slips and keep them folded until each person has taken one. Harry, you help little Dave." Mr. Graves took the hand of the little boy who came willingly with him up to the box. "Take a paper out of the box, Davy," Mr. Summers said. Davy put his hand into the box and laughed. "Take just one paper," Mr. Summers said. "Harry, you hold it for him." Mr. Graves took the child's hand and removed the folded paper from the tight fist and held it while little Dave stood next to him and looked up at him wonderingly. Nancy next, Mr. Summers said, was 12, and her school friends breathed heavily as she went forward, switching her skirt, and took a slip daintily from the box. "Bill Jr.," Mr. Summers said, and Billy, his face red and his feet overlarge, near knocked the box over as he got a paper out. "Tessie," Mr. Summers said. She hesitated for a minute, looking around defiantly, and then set her lips and went up to the box. She snatched a paper out of it and held it behind her. "Bill," Mr. Summers said, and Bill Hutchinson reached into the box and felt around, bringing his hand out at last with a slip of paper in it. A crowd was quiet. A girl whispered, "I hope it's not Nancy," and the sound of the whisper reached the edges of the crowd. "It's not the way it used to be," old man Warner said clearly. "People ain't the way they used to be." "All right, Mr. Summers, open the papers. Harry, you open little Davy's." Mr. Graves opened the slip of paper, and there was a general sigh through the crowd as it held up, and everyone could see that it was blank. Nancy and Bill Jr. opened theirs at the same time, and both beamed and laughed, turning around to the crowd, holding their clips of paper above their heads. "Tessie," said Mr. Summers. There was a pause, and then Mr. Summers looked at Bill Hutchinson, and Bill unfolded the paper and showed it was blank. "It's Tessie," Mr. Summers said, and his voice was hushed. "Show us her paper, Bill." Bill Hutchinson went over to his wife and forced a slip of paper out of her hand. It had a black spot on it. The black spot Mr. Summers had made the night before with a heavy pencil in the Coyle Company office. Bill Hutchinson held it up, and there was a stir in the crowd. "All right, folks," Mr. Summers said, "let's finish quickly." Although the villagers had forgotten the ritual and lost the original black box, they still remembered to use stones. The pile of stones the boys had made earlier was ready. There were stones on the ground with the glowing scraps of paper that had come out of the box. Delacroix selected a stone so large she had to pick it up with both hands and turned to Mrs. Dunbar. "Come on," she said, "hurry up." Mr. Dunbar had small stones in both hands and said, grasping for help, "I can't run at all. You'll have to go ahead and I'll catch up with you." The children had stones already, and someone gave little Davy Hutchinson fruit pebbles. Tessie Hutchinson was in the center of a clear space by now, and she held her hands out desperately as the villagers moved in on her. "It isn't fair," she said. "A stone hit her on the side of the head." Old man Warner was saying, come on, everyone," and Steve Adams was in the front of the crowd, villagers with Mrs. Graves beside him. "It isn't fair. It isn't fair. It isn't fair," Mrs. Hutchinson screamed, and then they were upon her.
Did they throw the box
You don't understand.
A stone hit her on the side of the head.
So-
why would they move in on her?
How do you feel?
I feel confused. I feel like I should go back to
why would
school
they
like
do that?
2 more times just to
So
go
clueless.
understand.
The woman, like, they
Yeah,
just
I
gave
just
her
read it.
this child, like, little Davy, pebbles to throw up.
So what surprised you the most or disturbed you?
Not what they were gonna do.
What's the point of the lottery?
I think it might be the last line. Is it fair? Is it right? She screamed, and then they were upon her. That's like.
What
the
if
most
and then they
corner.
I think I know like a few hard songs. How do you guys understand it?
Alright, so I want you to get a sheet of paper out. I want you to get a sheet of paper out. It doesn't have to be a whole paper. You can split it with somebody. And I want y'all to write about that. I want you guys to write about, after we read this, what is your initial response? How do you feel?
This is in the entire book.
Yeah.
What happens is this the end of it or the
Yeah, it's the end of it.
We have to answer this question.
Wait, so she dies?
This is the end of it.
Probably dies.
Oh, and is she one of her friends?
This is a
Giving up that she
cliffhanger.
had to hold this. No, they even gave her little Davy, little Davy is so small that his older brother had to get hold the slip of him. So
Why
it's
they
his
have
fault.
But like now who's gonna take care of little baby? Or the kids?
Imagine that was crazy.
You missed out. That
In my
was
opinion, this is just pissing me off.
Alright, come on. Write that down in a couple of Give me a couple of minutes.
Could you pass the later, Bindi?
Yeah, that's what it reminded me.
This is your quick write. How do you feel? What surprised or disturbed you? I'm gonna put a little 2-minute timer on the board. Come on, let's get some paper. Let's write.
Smite. No, because the villagers said that they forgot the original purpose.
Yeah, she does that.
So yeah, it might be like she wanted it, but that's like
What day is it? So today?
kind of like our society.
Why do you say it's like our society?
You know, like if someone wins or does something good or something, the other people are gonna always
one
try
doesn't
to
work.
bring them down. Like if you're really smart, a lot of people are gonna hate you for being smart and make fun of you. If you're pretty, they're gonna call you ugly. If you went to Harvard or
They did it because of superstitious people. Human sacrifice.
what?
A human sacrifice would ensure. Do we have to write the question down?
That's what they said. They said a good
Yeah,
lottery,
Miss
a
James.
good harvest.
No, just right.
Oh my god. I'm gonna read about this.
Were you surprised by the ending?
Oh, okay, so I get it.
Do we answer the questions on the paper? Or do we just write?
I told you this quick write. How do you feel? What surprised or disturbed you? Alright, so let's discuss it. How do you feel? Like literally, just give me one word. How do you feel after reading
I
that?
feel really confused.
Confused, shocked,
Disturbed.
horrified, Disturbed.
Disappointed.
Disappointed.
Because
Diabolical.
I finally understand the story. So basically,
One word. How do you feel?
This is messed up. Disgrace.
I have no idea
Well,
what to say.
In one word, you don't know?
I have no idea what one
All right,
word, because it was
moving
very
on.
confusing.
What surprised or disturbed you?
That shit I hit her with the rock on the side of her head.
Yeah, hit it
Well,
over.
her and her family
What
got
surprised me-
hit by stones.
What surprised me the most was the whole point of
That was the lottery. What surprised most was that was the lottery, right? It wasn't like they were winning money or winning something new. It was
It's just to kill
to kill people.
The lottery was
for no reason.
Yeah,
the lottery was to
There is it is a reason. The reason is their tradition. So it goes back to why do people continue traditions without questioning them?
But I feel like this was a tradition that was changed over the
Yeah,
years.
they said
because
it was
they
changed.
couldn't remember.
No, it wasn't.
It
No,
was-
it wasn't exactly changed. They still did this. It's just that over time the tradition
It was
eventually
changed.
it lost the
Over
meaning.
time, it lost the meaning. So
It lost the
meaning.
meaning.
The
So
meaning could have
it
been
was
something
changed.
different.
Maybe the meaning of at first was not to have like a bigger family or like to grow the village or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
No,
you're
and-
saying that now it was just more like people were just kind of doing it as like just out of routine. Like this is
No.
what we do.
no, at the start I think it was like to go bring like the other families like prosperity and like good and like just remove bad omens in general. But over time that lost meaning and since people didn't question it, they just continued to go to the tradition.
Like they didn't
And if,
question.
and if the tradition doesn't have any meaning, and it's also unethical, then it's just wrong to do the tradition in the first place.
So what surprised me was like they did all of this because they believed a human sacrifice would bring them good crops. No, they said a good lottery in June, a good harvest later. That was
They did
all
say
of that was just for like crops like corn and stuff like
And
that.
like
And
they didn't even do like a normal death. They did like a harsh, painful death.
An execution.
throwing rocks
And like they even
in
gave
the
it to their
head.
own
A
son.
kid brought a big
A
rock.
little kid. Like
yeah,
her son.
and also
And
big
even
rocks.
if her son, no, yeah,
Yeah,
they
her
gave
son,
the
her son, they gave the son the rocks.
And like little Davy was like what, 1 or 2 years old. He was like
Because
this.
his
He
brother
could
had
have
to
been
help him
killed
get the
if he drew the black dot. Like it didn't matter who it was.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Like even a small little baby.
It's just like I guess
That's
like
sad.
I guess in their way they think that's being fair. It's like you pulled it, you pulled it, you got it.
I also feel like they were shaming like the other towns that were giving up the lottery for not doing the lottery. They were like, why would they do that? Why would? So I also felt like Miss Hutchinson, she didn't really respond to that. She just stayed quiet. So I feel like in the end she did say that it isn't fair, it isn't right, and it's not fair. She kept repeating that throughout the story.
Yes, sir.
I felt disappointed because this happened like almost nearly a century ago. Like this story takes place nearly a century ago, right? Like where we come now, like we still follow blindly. We don't think twice about things. That's the whole reason they did it, right? They followed blindly.
That's a good point. Yes, one point.
Also, earlier in the book, it says, the box was taken to the safe of Mr. Summers' coal company and locked up until Mr. Summers was ready to take it to the square next morning. However, later in it, it says Mr. Summers had made the night before with a heavy pencil in the coal company office. So that was foreshadowing of what was about to happen, the fate of Tessie and like the rest of her family.
So they knew it was gonna be Tesla.
No, they didn't know it was gonna be Tessie. That's why it's a lottery.
Also, what disturbed me was like, you know how the other girls, the other children, whenever they, so the baby, he got blank, right? He drew blank. So everyone was happy, right? So So whenever the other two children went like right after each other, they got blamed. They laughed. They were happy, but they should have known that it was gonna be one of their parents.
Yeah.
So that kind of like
They didn't really care.
like
'Cause
yeah.
it happened to so many families. Because if it's been happening for centuries, it happened to so many families before them that they were used to it, and they were just like happy, even though they
Also,
were
they were still little kids that didn't grow up.
Yeah,
That's what
they're gonna like live their
So,
whole life without their mother now, and it's just all because of a lottery.
All right, I like this discussion, but we gotta wrap it up because it is time for your next class. We will continue tomorrow with symbolism and get some symbols out of the story. Okay, thank you.